since we're not really using it, or are people watching it?
People might be
Oh,
watching.
okay, I'm sorry.
They're not-
Okay,
Agency might
that just
check
makes me
out.
nervous. Okay. So, my name is Dainty Walter, and I am the owner and CEO of Dainty Jewells Apparel. And this is my husband, Jess Walter. We actually run the business together. He does more of the work than I do now. I have a little cute baby. His name is Montgomery Walter, and he is 10 months old, but he was really cranky, so I didn't bring him today. But I will apologize in advance. I woke up this morning feeling really under the weather, so if you don't hear me clearly, let me know. I'll try and talk loudly though. But I wanted to say thank you so much to Wilson for this opportunity. I really appreciate it, and that I hope to inspire you guys in your entrepreneurial journey, or if you haven't started, to dive into it. So one of the things I wanted to start out by asking, because I know you guys are from all different roles in your education and career, is does anybody have like a business already going? I'm just curious. Okay, does anybody have a business idea that you want to pursue? Okay, that's okay. I hope to inspire you. I started my business when I was 16 years old, and I started in 2009. I'm 26 now, and it originally began as a creative outlet for me to start like a little hobby business. I started by making hair accessories, and I'm originally from North Carolina, so when you hear like the bows, the bigger the better of little girls, that's really true. And so I was able to supply that market with hair accessories and accessories of all kinds. So I started my business again as like a side hobby. I didn't ever anticipate it to be a business. I just thought it was like a way to sell stuff here and there. As a young woman intent on living a godly life, I desired to dress not only modestly, but in a way that was classy and fashionable. So in addition to making my hair accessories, I started to remake some of my clothing. I would buy vintage pieces and just add like my own flair to them, like a little bow, like a signature bow, or ruffles or something like that. And so people had already known my business from the hair accessories. Hi. And so, keep going.
Yeah, that's very distracting.
Good, I mean, hey. And so I started my business. So what happened? Okay, let me back up. Very good.
I was thinking, you know, you give me permission, you're supposed to kick it out. Yeah, I see. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
You know how to work this about the time you're done.
I know. I wish I could help. I don't understand. If it was Facebook, I could help you. But okay. So I was selling headbands, whatever. I made like a little album on Facebook and was selling them off that, PayPaling invoices. I had no website. I decided to name my business. It was the middle of winter in Wyoming. My dad was an evangelist, and so he was like a traveling preacher. That's all that means. And so we were in the middle of Wyoming, freezing cold, no Wi-Fi. I got like 1 bar of Wi-Fi in the van, and I decided to name my business and start a Facebook page. So very small beginnings, nothing huge and glamorous. So I started my Facebook page, and then people began to know my accessories by the name Dainty Jewells, and they wanted to purchase the clothing that I was wearing that I had remade. And I kept telling them, no, I'm not selling clothing. It's way too much work, whatever. Well, a lot of people asked me, and finally I was like, okay, whatever. I'll sell it, and I'll launch a clothing collection in 2 weeks. And I was like, wait, what did I just say? And so, sure enough, I collected a lot of vintage pieces and remade them, and I started a clothing collection. I launched a clothing collection in 2 weeks. So that was in summer of 2010, and all those pieces sold out super quick, and I realized there was a demand for modest apparel that's fashionable and classy right then. And so that's how Dainty Jewells began. We started to, well, this was before I was married, and so I needed seamstresses. I hired a seamstress. The demand grew so quick for her. I hired more than one seamstress. The demand grew so quickly for them that we moved on to manufacturing in bulk. And now we produce like over 50,000 pieces a year. So it started out as an idea, as a hobby. I wanted to be a dental hygienist. I was planning to go to school to be a dental hygienist. But little did I know God had other plans for me. So I want to inspire you that you may have a talent, you may have something that you enjoy doing, a hobby that might seem small and insignificant, but if you try and cultivate that and make a Facebook page and launch out there, you never know what can happen with it. One of the awesome things about our generation today is that we do have technology to help us. It's a blessing and it's kind of a curse sometimes because it's always changing and there's always something new, but you guys do have that ability. Even when I started my business 10 years ago, I didn't have a website, but everything was so small. Google, like we ranked right at the top because we were the only one, you know. So it's changed quickly for us too. But so I sold my first headband for $25. To me, that's ridiculous now, but somebody loved it and bought it. And it was actually, there's a popular music artist, Torrin Wells, it was his wife that bought it. But you never know, you never know. And she was from Texas, I was in North Carolina at the time. So she bought it all the way from Texas. Our whole world was connected. Our whole company was connected to the world. So I kind of skipped through like all my notes at this point, but let me see what I do better without notes, but I still have notes. Okay, so throughout the last few years, Dainty Jewells has expanded not only as a modest clothing company, but as a ministry for women all across the world who desire to present themselves as intentional ladies. So our website caters to all women. We carry a full line of women and girls clothing, plus size, wedding, you name it. So we started out as headbands, like accessories. And now we carry several lines of clothing. We hope to even expand into the bridal industry. So I just want to be like that living testimony that you can do it. Take a small idea and you can make it happen. So again, I just skipped through like all my notes. So there's a quote that I have in my office on my desk. Well, let me back up, sorry. Okay, I never envisioned being where I'm at today. Literally, I had plans to be a dental hygienist at 18 years old. I was trying to figure out life, you know, when you go through that, like college, or work at Burger King the rest of your life, or like, you know, just trying to figure out what you're gonna do with your life. And so I was at the point of college or put all my time, money, effort into my little business that I didn't think was gonna do anything. Well, God just opened that door and it did, it blew up. And so I have this quote on my desk that says, his plans are bigger than my dreams, which is so true. So as you're cultivating that idea, or if you're working for, maybe you're like in marketing and you're working to help another small business create that idea or grow from that idea, you can still remember that. Like it could start out super small, but your talents, your marketing expertise could help it to grow into something bigger than you can imagine. It's crazy to think back to all the business highs and lows that have happened in the past 10 years. From crazy customers, so you'll never please them all. We've had some crazy customers. We've had some amazing customers. I'm just talking about business, so hope this helps. To facilitating buildings, so I started out in my bedroom at my parents' house. When I got married and moved, I moved here with one rack of clothing. Obviously, it sold down quite a bit, but still I had like enough to fit in my bedroom, so that's not very much. I moved here with one rack of clothing. We moved into our first rental house into one bedroom where we facilitated all our inventory there, which was like 10 totes of inventory. Okay, and then we moved downtown to 101 First Street, which if you're familiar with LeGrand, the SAC Annex building, the tall, our skyscraper, in the bottom of that basement, or in the bottom of that building, there's 2 storefronts in the corner. We moved into there. We outgrew that super quick. I think we stayed there a year and a half, I want to say. We outgrew that super quick. We moved to a building over on Jefferson. It was like a garage, like a construction shop. And because there wasn't a lot of places in LaGrange to like expand quickly, we had to get places super quick. And now we just built our new warehouse, which is 6,000 square feet. I have to ask him all the technical numbers because that is not my forte. But anyways, so we built our new warehouse, custom made to our needs. And so we had to go through all that development. It was to a point in one of our buildings where we were literally like almost working on top of boxes because we didn't have space to store our inventory. It wasn't pretty. It was pretty ugly. So we had like stuff stored in the bathroom. Thankfully it was a big bathroom, but like we literally had to make use of every space we had. So there's a lot of growing curves through that, facilitating buildings and learning through growing curves, being the boss to 8 to 10 employees now. So we have 8 to 10 employees, give or take normally, and figuring out how all that works, and you know, it's a whole nother ball game. So keeping strict quality over the pieces we carry. So I'm very particular about fabrics and styles and threads and the quality of our pieces. And so actually just learning that because I didn't have the privilege or the opportunity to go to college because my business literally blew up, not grew up, sorry. And so I have so many things I want to tell you guys, but it's like all over in my mind. So anyway, so you have to learn, and those are all business high-lows. It's not all beautiful, glamorous, like we see people's Instagrams. If you follow like maybe influencers, fashion influencers, or I like to follow, there's a girl named Rachel Parcell, and she has a fashion label now. And you see all the pretty stuff, you see the pretty work days at work, the office views, but I know there's another side to that. So business is great, but there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. Controlling our inventory management and supply, that was another hard thing, is figuring out how to implement an inventory program and be consistent with it. We now have a SKU program where we scan everything in and out, but when I started, I just like literally would count 3 dresses per style and update the inventory. So we go from super small to big. And then running all the errands, like going to Walmart, because we need paper for the printer at the shop because that's what business owners do, you know? No one else can get away to do that. So guess who runs the Walmart? Me. So as an entrepreneur and small business owner, you may wear many hats. I used to ship off my bed at my bedroom at my parents' house because this was my fulfillment center. On Instagram side, it looked glamorous, it looked fun, we had photo shoots, you know. We were rolling out those packages with all the labels on it to the post office because we had a busy sales day. But the reality was, I was up at 3 a.m. shipping, printing off labels, and making sure everything was good. So, meaning all-nighters, pulled sewing, shipping, and emailing. So, another thing is that through, you know, this whole journey, our business has been self-funded since the very beginning. We did recently get a grant from our wonderful community, and that has helped a lot with our new building. But up until that point, we were completely self-funded, and that's like a huge thing for a 26 and 27-year-old business owners. So it can happen, and it can happen with you. We have been blessed and leaned on the wisdom of others. You definitely have to be bold. Okay, so I wanted to hand out these papers. I don't have enough copies, so I was thinking I can hand out 1 to each row, and then if you want a copy, you can get one from Mr. Wilson. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. Anybody who wants a handout who didn't get one, just send me an email, I'll print them.
Or take a picture too. I just thought of that too.
Well, I can scan it. I have a scanner in my office too.
Okay.
So I can send you a copy.
And by the way, I'm going to take questions afterwards. I would much rather answer questions than talk. So if you think of questions, please get them together, like from social media to marketing to whatever. I don't know what you guys are, what your hotspot is, but I want to help.
The students before they have, and they have at least 3.
Okay.
And I think Sarah had one about the other fashion line.
Okay, so these are 3 questions for me?
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, let me hurry up.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you this one. My middle name is Jewel. That was my grandmother's name. I like Jewel, whatever. And back then it was a thing to use your name when you start a business, like Jane McKenzie, or that's like some of my competitors, Dainty's, whatever. So I like the name Jewel, and I like the name Dainty because I like feminine, elegant, all things girly, so I just put them together. So, yeah. But Peony Street, I love peonies, and my dream is to name a street out in the business park Peony Street. I don't know if it'll work, but one day when we're expanding all over. And so that's how that came about too.
So I have a question. On
Yes.
the website, so you have 2 different websites. Where's the difference between Peony Street and just your regular Dainty Jewells site?
That's a great question. So Dainty Jewells, everything's designed by me. And of course there's higher price points because it's manufactured, so great quality. I have a boutique section with a few pieces I source, but not really that much. Now Peony Street, everything's under $50. I source it all through wholesale, through markets. Like there's a market in Las Vegas called Magic. If any of you guys are interested in clothing, period, I highly suggest that market. Where you can source premium stuff, you can source manufacturers, you can source all kinds of amazing resources. So yeah, does that explain? I source everything, I don't design it.
There's a show called Agenda too. It's in Las Vegas and LA, and they do fashion, but more youth brands, I think. So
Yeah, there's several markets. And actually, yeah, Las Vegas hosts a lot of them. Magic is one that I wish I would have known in the beginning when I was looking for a manufacturer. I didn't even know that was available. But you literally can walk into this huge convention center, huge. And there's rows of manufacturers that you can meet with, depending on the region you want to go to. So it's really cool. So you definitely have to be bold. I remember running into a huge obstacle in our business. I was praying and trying to find a manufacturer, like it was so hard, and it still is today, but that's a great resource. We were growing so quickly that we had one seamstress I hired couldn't keep up. The one seamstress I hired couldn't keep up. Quality wasn't the best. I switched to many seamstresses until I found an amazing sewing group. They helped as much as they could, but I literally had to turn down orders because they couldn't meet the demand. So it was kind of a dream come true, but again, those growing pains, those business struggles that you go through. So in the clothing industry, finding a manufacturer is very hush-hush. Like even our manufacturer now today, a lot of people email us and like straight up ask us for the information, and like you don't do that. But you do have to be bold. So you never know. I've been listening to podcasts. I love podcasts. Does anybody know what that is? Okay, they're like life-changing. Okay, so I've been listening to podcasts, and I listened to this one. I can't remember what company it was, but she was building a brand, and she just called up her competitor and talked to the secretary and was like, "What manufacturer do you guys use?" And the secretary told her. And so that's their manufacturer now. Like, how dumb. So that's why you have contracts with your employees. But anyway, so manufacturers in the clothing industry, and really in any industry, I think that was the shoe business, is very hush-hush. So to find one is like extremely hard. But that was a obstacle that came up too, because we were growing so quickly and we did not have the supply to meet the demand. So I ended up like Googling and Googling and Googling. I emailed this random clothing manufacturer, like super random, like they produce mini skirts, and I don't know why, I just decided to email them. And today that's our manufacturer. And we have such a great relationship with them that like literally, if we get a whole production of damaged items or something's off about that production, they'll refund it, which is crazy to hear that relationship with your vendors, okay? So I remember though, during that process, I would like call up any person I could find with a phone number that had to do with the manufacturer. So whatever business or whatever idea you have, you could apply that to this, but you have to be bold. Like you have to put yourself out there. That's why I kind of like phone, because they can't see your face. And they really don't know your name, so you can just be like, "Hi, this is whoever," and they'll never know. But I had some really nice people that gave me great advice. Like one of them was, don't overscale, like don't buy 1,000 pieces of one dress when you don't have the customers to buy it. But then I met some people that were super rude and was like, why are you even asking me? And then some people didn't even answer. So you just have to be bold and you have to keep trying. Go back, go back, go back. Okay, so from failure, so something my pastor always says is from failure becomes experience, experience becomes knowledge. So I've learned a lot of lessons since I've started. So some of the elements I feel are key to its success is, okay, we're good on time. First of all, a business plan. Somebody didn't tell me this until I was already way into my business. And at that point, I didn't have time to even think about a business plan. But after I moved here in 2013, so 4 years into my business, we sat down and did a business plan. We actually paid someone to help us put it together. I recommend getting it together. You don't have to pay a professional, but get your ideas on paper. You can download free PDFs. I mean, you guys probably know way better than me how to do this stuff, but get you a business plan and stick to it. Again, it took off so quickly, I could barely keep up with anything, so I didn't have one together in the beginning, but we did put one together and we moved forward from there. And it's a great thing so you can keep your focus, because social media changes, trends change, products change, but you want to stay true to your direction, to your branding, especially like in clothing industry, there's always a trending item or trending colors that really aren't me. So I want to stay true to my branding. Social media. Customers feel like they're more a part of Dainty Jewells through social media. We use social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest to engage with our customers. We ask them questions about our favorite outfits already produced and ask for ideas on future products. We give them opportunities to name new dresses, participate in giveaways. So these are all ideas to connect with your customers when you get to that point. Obviously, we started our business on social media. I give a lot of my credit for growth to Facebook, because we didn't have a website for the first 3 years. We did all of our business through Facebook. So start a Facebook page. If you have an idea, go ahead and grab that business name before someone else does, especially on Instagram, because it's really hard to get that after someone else has claimed it. Go ahead and grab that handle, and then you have it. So our customer service, having good customer service too, is very important. And then we have our blog. Did someone ask about our blog?
Yeah, there was a question that came up.
Okay, so She's Intentional. Did you actually? So you probably went on my website or our website and seen that we had a blog. Okay, so you're familiar with the name of it. So our official blog is one of the favorite ways we connect with our customers. Our blogging team consists of 12 writers who reach out to our customers on a more personal level. So this is very important anytime when starting a business. I've seen blogs about like what are those little cars? Race cars? Electric cars? What are they called?
I know what bloggers are.
Yeah, like kids play with them, but they sell them at the malls and stuff. They're like, you have a remote
Control.
remote control. Yeah,
RC car.
I really love them. So I've seen where people blog about parts for that car, but that is conversion for their customers, because that's a way you can connect and give advice on how to build your car or whatever. For us, it would be how to style a dress without selling the dress. So you want to have that business connect or that personal connection with your customers where you're not like pushing sales all the time. That's kind of why we have our blog. Another reason is, again, we just get to connect with our customers in a more personal way. We answer weddings who have used our dresses. We interview women who are living with intentionality and purpose in their daily lives. We publish devotionals, home decor, recipes. She's Intentional, our blog, is dedicated to living out the mission of Dainty Jewells, to encourage and equip women to live purposefully and modestly in the 21st century. So, what did you have a specific question about our blog or why we have
So
it?
I put this up if that's helpful. I don't.
Yeah. So for our blog, do you want to go to our blog page, please? Sure. If you scroll down, it's linked at the bottom.
The very bottom.
Yeah. Right here. This is it. That one. I don't know if it'll visit our blog. And actually, we just signed on with a new marketing company out of Seattle, who is completely rebuilding our website, and our branding and everything, and they're gonna actually pull all of our blog content onto the same platform as our website because they suggested that why have a bunch of customers go to another page when you could have them on our website converting. So we are in the process of doing that. So this is our blog, and again, this is the way we can connect with our customers in a more personal way. You see we have hair tutorials. Here's a blog about mothers, like who are in ministry. If you keep scrolling, I can see more examples. We do guest features, life articles, Memorial Day outfit inspiration, food, devotionals, coffee recipes. So we do try to do a little bit of everything.
We're all saying that coffee looks really good.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. I don't drink coffee, but he does. I know. So, anyways, this is a way we can have fun. We come up with good content. Actually, we have an amazing team of writers. If you go to the team, you'll see. And this is something we started in 2014. And we've been funding it since then. So each writer gets $30 in store credit for each blog post they do. So it's just something fun. Really, they would do it probably just for the exposure, but this is just something fun for them.
Are they all customers as well?
Yeah, that's how we found them, was through our social media pages. They have all purchased. She models for us, obviously. But yeah, they all purchase stuff from us. So she models
So
for
they're
us.
all fans.
Yeah, and that's awesome. They're already passionate about Dainty Jewells and the brand. We have a good variety too of mommies to that blog. So you just have to find what your customers want, who they are, figure out where they're at in their season of life and cater to them. I really suggest having a blog if you have a business. Find something to blog about. Like if you're selling garden tools, blog about garden, like plants and pottery and your favorite choices. Like whatever you're doing, brainstorm how you can connect with your customers.
And the other thing with a blog, if it's set up right, it can help with your search engine optimization, right?
Exactly. And that's one of the main things too. We want to bring it to our website because it'll drive more traffic. Yeah, having those keywords is so important. Again, you guys probably know way more about that than I do, but it's very important. So the next thing would be having clear direction and sticking to it. Know where you're going and don't waver. There'll be a lot of trending things that come along the way and can distract you and pull you off course. Trust me, I've got caught up in them. Certain styles or colors, and my customers don't want that. They want what I sell and my true style. For example, I just told you that. I can't put my focus on those just because they're popular and selling well. I need to stay true to my brand and direction I want to take our company. So, consistency. Be consistent for yourself, for your customers, and for your team, the people you work with. This is huge. A great example is if you are to start a social media page, don't post 15 times within the first week and get burnout. I know that's really easy to do because you get excited. You're like, I gotta tell people right now, Try and space those out over, like an example, try and space those out over 3 weeks and be consistent. And social media will like you way better, like Facebook robots or however that works, they'll like you way better for that. Consistency is key. Clients pick up on that quick. Having great content. If you do decide to advertise via website or social media pages, come up with good content. Our generation and technology today, we have that opportunity. We have iPhones in our hand. We can go outside and take a picture of the planter we're selling in the grass or the flower, and boom, we have good content. So get creative. That's my favorite part. Like, I do not want to do the inventory. I don't want to do the heavy lifting. That's what he's for. All the hard work and the brainstorming on the technical side. I like going out and getting pretty things, and like in my office, I'll lay out a piece of the poster board that's thick to get a white background, and then I'll do flat lays of my products. So just get creative. That's what I love. Okay, I don't want to expand on this a lot because our company has been known for producing great pictures and content. Therefore, our branding has been structured by this. It makes a difference. Also, this is what keeps us apart a lot from competition because people will get lazy with it or they'll grow too quickly. They don't focus on it all through it. Like, we just paid a ton of money to have our website redone and content made and just like the whole branding redone. So it's important, like that's always been one of our main focuses, is making sure our presentation is as perfect as can get. Which don't be afraid to be a perfectionist. To this day, even with our recent web design, I nitpick over everything. They're probably like, she's so crazy. Because like I literally, yesterday, there was like one font off, like one heading off. And I was like, I can't have that, it has to be different. So they're gonna have to code it in because I nitpick, like I want it to be perfect. I know what I want and stick to it. That's what keeps us apart from others. Be willing to learn from others. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And there's somebody that always knows more than you, or that you can learn from. And then the last one I think is super important too is give, give, give. Find someone, or find something someone needs, a need to give back to, invest in others trying to become entrepreneurs. People did it for me, people will do it for you. We support missionaries both in the United States and abroad by giving them monetary funds, for their families. And I really believe that's why we've been blessed and God's blessed us. I've used that example a lot with the grant that we got. We give, and that's our mission. That's really why we have Dainty Jewells, because God's given it to us. We can give it to others, help others. But when you give, stuff like that will just fall into your lap. And so we really got blessed with that grant a couple years ago. So I want to encourage you to do all those things I just talked about. I want to have time for questions, so I'm rushing. There's still so much. This was like only 15 minutes when I typed it out. And now it's like way longer. So let me try and make 5 minutes, and then that won't be enough for questions. Okay, here we go. Sorry. So it's definitely not easy. I've cried many tears, literally. I've depended on God more than ever for direction in situations, and just generally in our business. I've learned several lessons due to trial and error. Some days are way harder than others, but it's worth it. The good far outweighs the bad. We just moved into our dream building that was custom built to fit the needs of our business. However, when I moved here, I never seen that happen. I moved to LaGrange 6 years ago with one rack of clothing. Now I know it's not impossible to dream too big. That was literally a dream. Like, that would have never happened. No dream is too small or too big. However, many people will only see the big picture of the business. This is very key, but never see the hard work involved. Still to this day, people see the fruits of our labor, okay? We've been working, and they're like, so did you work today? Like, are you busy today? I just think you're sitting at home doing nothing. No, it's hard work, and only you will see that, okay? I've pulled many all-nighters throughout my time in business. I won't say it will be easy, but don't ever give up. Shoot for the moon. So I would like to encourage you to find what you're great at, find a talent you may have. Designing clothing was a talent I didn't really realize that I had. Find a hobby, start a Facebook page, add some prices, and start selling. It's not that easy, but you can do it. Take the leap of faith, you can do it. So that's it. And now I want to answer questions, because I love questions. So let's go ahead and address this one. Whose question was that? Okay.
Yeah, who would you consider to be your primary competitors? Because obviously taking your business online, you're open to competition from all over the world.
Yes.
So.
And it's crazy, but modest apparel, like dresses in general, have become so much more popular on the runways and stuff. So there's big companies like Macy's and Dillard's that are carrying modest dresses. So I feel like there's competition in all aspects and all sizes of business. But there's this website called SEMrush, and they will give you a competitor analysis report. Is that how you say it? And they will literally, like, off the numbers that Google gives them, give you your competitors. So, like, one of my competitors, they say, is Sweet Salt Clothing, and then another one is Mika Rose, and these are all modest apparel companies. But the hard thing for us right now is, like I said, modest apparel is so popular. Like the Rachel Parcell brand that I mentioned earlier, she's an influencer out of Salt Lake City. She just launched a clothing brand, and almost all of her pieces are modest. And it's huge, it's in Nordstrom. There's another one that just got launched in Nordstrom, Gal Meets Glam. So it's kind of hard to judge that because I feel like it's all over right now with the style. But that website has told us those people, and we're going to try and target, by using the same keywords and all that. And then Like in our own like church region, of course I have competitors too, but honestly they're not at the same level as us. So I don't really count them, but like in our own church level.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm talking to professionals on this stuff. Any more questions? Does anybody else have
What do you mean
questions?
when you say your church level?
Yes, like so our we go to Apostolic Pentecostal Church, and that's Dainty Jewells was started like in I guess that community of people, and so it branched out and blew up in that community of people. So we have competitors within that are the same. They're at all the conferences we set up with, and they have a lot of the same customers as us, but they're not at the same level sales wise as us. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
So they're like our competitors, but not big competitors. Okay, yes.
I was wondering who does your marketing and why you chose that marketing agency.
So EFELLE, E-F-E-L-L-E. We just signed on with them, and you could probably answer this better. But they offered us, so we talked to like a ton of web marketing agencies, and our website is built on a blueprint theme. Does anybody know what that is? I don't know, because I don't really know. Okay.
WordPress using a blueprint.
We're using, so not on our blog, on our website is BigCommerce. We're using BigCommerce. And so it's pretty much just an old website, 5 years old. And that's not good in tech. I mean, every year it changes. So now we're trying to change over to the stencil theme. It's like a $10,000 project, that alone. It's huge. Yeah, so once you grow, you pay a lot more. And so we signed on with them because they offered that, but in addition to that, they offered they're really smart about everything to do with marketing, and they actually projected that they could help us convert our sales or our customer or whatever, however you say all that, like double our sales, right?
Convert
Yeah.
your leads more effectively?
Yeah, and they,
way a lot.
and they also, the last marketing company we had, it was more of a job. This one, they seem to feel a little bit more passionate about what we do.
Yeah,
And
they
so-
have that connection.
I mean, it's still a job for them, but, they put a little bit of effort into trying to make it their company as well.
They're not all about the money. In fact, it's a huge company, but I was working with the CEO free for like 2 weeks, phone calls, emails. He didn't charge me one dime, and he actually gave me a lot of information, and I hadn't even signed on yet.
So when you said they have the shared interest, is that the fashion or the fame?
Just I think with your
Pro-
customers.
It's really more of just their customer service kind of end of it, I would
Like-
say, but,
You just thought they were more responsive,
Yeah.
more sensitive to you.
Yes.
Yeah, they really took, they're taking it serious, like as if it was their own business. They actually just presented the new webpage to me yesterday, and it's so detailed, everything I ever wanted. They take a lot of time with their customers, and that paid off to me right in the beginning, because the marketing company we had before was awesome, but you could tell they wanted money, they were in it just for the money, and if we weren't long-term, who cares? And they were way more expensive than this business, and not as professional. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Thank you.
Make that personal connection with whoever it is, that you're trying to work with.
So there's two messages there. One is for your business, but the other one is for the agency too. So there's somebody who won a new customer by providing excellent customer service, understanding what the customer needed, and being able to deliver it.
Yeah. And like I said, the CEO of this huge company, they had 30 employees designing under them. He spent probably 5 to 6 hours of his own personal time over 2 weeks with us before we even committed to them. We were clear with them, we're judging, we're picking from different companies. So he invested his time in us, and that went a long ways, because he told us so much that we benefited from, again, before we even signed from him, that we could have took and ran with it, but we didn't. So, any more questions? Yes.
So, obviously, you guys grew super quick, and I guess just how do you, when you're growing that fast, how do you control such rapid growth, and maybe what did what to avoid, and what kind of information, how did maybe social media and stuff like that help you in doing that, when you're growing that big?
Well, one of the main things with social media is you're developing that trust with the customer. You can communicate with them and again, make that personal connection. So maybe on the back side of things, like in the behind the scenes, we could have had oversold items because we thought we had the inventory, but we really didn't, and we had to refund those customers and they weren't very happy with us. There could have been like, employees, finding good employees. I entered the emails for way longer than I should have because I couldn't find employees to help. So customers weren't happy about that because they're not getting answered in a timely manner. But on the front end, social media help with that because you're still making that personal connection, so they trust you through social media. They're like, oh, she's so nice. It's okay. Like, I understand, you know? It kind of is like a circle. It kind of brings it around. That's why I love social media. However, I will say our business model is very unique because we have a lot of customers who don't even have social media but connect with us through email marketing. So like MailChimp and things like that. So I think social media is key. When you're growing, things to avoid, I would say in the very beginning of your business, lay out, like if you're gonna sell a product, lay out your inventory system, like what you wanna use eventually. So whenever it hits, like the growth is there, you can implement it. Or in the very beginning, I would say go ahead and have it ready because that was like our main thing was inventory. We would oversell, we wouldn't know, we would have a box of dresses sitting there, it would never sell because it was never in inventory. And you're growing so quick, you're just trying to keep up with receiving shipments in or like answering emails and shipping product out. Our biggest year was 2015, and so that tells you anything to put it in perspective for you. So we like peaked all the way up to then and then kind of leveled out. So it's crazy. From 13 to 15, like super crazy. We had like half the inventory. We would always sell all the stuff. So things to avoid. What else would you say? With growth. Growing curves are so hard. Again, I would say like having a plan in your mind for the next step, like for building. You would always tell me we're losing space, like right now. We're so packed in our warehouse, and he's like, don't order anymore. We're gonna have to like expand. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, it's okay, it'll always work out. But having that next step in your mind, I think will save a lot of stress too, because like, again, in my mind, I think it'll work out. But then we get there and it's like, what do we do, you know?
Yeah. Well, I would imagine too with like a product like your guys is where you're kind of, I don't know, just stepping into it, not really expecting to see such high demand as you did. It's probably hard to forecast sales and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially at the very, very beginning. So.
Yeah, it is. And again, I think it may be due to age. Like, I don't know, maybe it was just like I didn't understand it. But I didn't have a CPA in the beginning. That tells you, like, we were nowhere prepared for the growth we had.
I have another question.
Yes.
I mean, so you're in the fashion industry and your company's dependent on your creative ideas, your design sense. Do you ever worry about, you know, where's the next idea coming from? Can I come up with something cool, you know, that, you know what I mean? How do you stay fresh and creative?
Yeah, to be honest, I really do, because like sometimes I'll look at the beginning of the season, like a collection, and be like, how's this gonna come together? It always works out. A lot of times I'm praying about, I'm like, God, you gotta help me, because like I'm out of ideas. That's where I pull a lot of inspiration from, like Pinterest, color schemes. I love going to New York City because you have all different kinds of fashion inspiration there. But I try to pull inspiration from other things. And I do, but if I'm honest, yes, I do worry sometimes, like, and especially with my baby, I've kind of lost that, like, I want to just stay home with that baby, but I'm working on it. Marita understands. So, does that answer?
Yeah, no,
Anybody else? I know it's time.
So,
Well-
so in your university, usually the classes end at 10 to, so the students can get to their next class. But, so if a couple of students have to go, then, if you don't mind, we'll go to the next class. But, I mean, will you stick around for 5 minutes or 10 minutes?
Yes, if you guys have any other questions, you can reach out to me.